Welcome to the Frank Walker Law West Virginia podcast, where we talk all things criminal defense and personal injury. Now, this weekend, we're going to talk about DUIs in West Virginia. I know that's the dirty little topic that everyone doesn't want to talk about. They want to avoid it because it's embarrassing. And 9 times out of 10, when someone calls my office, I can predict what they're going to say. I'm going to ask them, how many drinks did you have? They're going to say 2 drinks. I'm going to ask them, how far were you from your house? They were right around the corner. I'm going to ask you, how did you feel when you got in the car? Oh, I felt fine. And the report, I don't have to see the report. I know what the report's going to say. The report's going to say they encountered the driver. They had unsteady gait, bloodshot eyes, and odor of alcohol emanating from the person. Every single report is going to say that because that's what they are trained to do when they stop you for a DUI. Listen, whether it's a weekend party, whether you're celebrating a promotion, whether you're celebrating a divorce, you're celebrating a marriage, anything, a vacation, you may think it's cause for celebration. You're going to have 1 or 2 drinks, and your plan is to only have 1 or 2 drinks, and that is your plan for getting home safely. That's a bad plan because if you don't have a designated driver, you don't have the Uber app, the Lyft app, or any other rideshare program on your phone already downloaded, ready for you to go with a credit card already attached to it. So you don't have to fumble around and wonder, how do you get this thing going and figure out, oh, it's not too bad, I'll just drive. Don't do that. Have everything planned before you go out because you can go out thinking you're fine. Have 1 glass of wine, one shot, 1 round, 1 celebration, and all of a sudden you're thinking, I'm okay. You're driving home. You forget your blinker. You forget that you have tint on your windows, or you're avoiding a pothole. A lot of those in West Virginia. You're avoiding a pothole. And all of a sudden, the officer pulls you over just to do an investigatory detention or an investigatory search. Inquire what's going on, why you're driving a little bit too reckless for their taste. And everything should be on camera on the dash cam and on their body cam. And it's going to be showing you how you reacted to the officer. And the funny thing is, you may not remember that encounter because you were intoxicated. You were under the influence. All I can ask you to do is make sure you prevent yourself from being in these positions by do not drive while you're drinking, whether it's 1 drink or 4 drinks. Just don't do it. There are so many other options to get you home safely. And there are so many dangers for you if you're out there driving while on the road under the influence of marijuana, under the influence of liquor, whether it be alcohol, beer, 1 shot, 4 drinks, a tall one, a small one, it doesn't matter. Please make sure you arrive alive. Just don't drink and drive. I know it sounds cheesy. I know it sounds like something that we said in the 80s, you heard on the radio. It still applies today because the officers are out there now and they know the liability if you hit someone or if you hit something or someone's a passenger in your car. You may get into an accident. You're fine. But worst case scenario, what if your passenger is not fine? Worst case scenario, that passenger does not survive. So for the rest of your life, you have to live with that guilt because you had 2 drinks. It's not worth it. It really is not worth it. So if you find yourself in a position where you're charged with a DUI, don't think you can just go online and YouTube your way through this and figure, I'm just going to get this information online. I'm going to listen to Frank Walker or all these other attorneys. They're going to tell me what to do. I don't want to spend the money and go in and do this. That's wrong. You need someone who understands all the moving parts and variables when you go in with a DUI. Are you over the limit? Are you twice over the limit? Is your second or subsequent? Are you a juvenile? Is it your third? Are you eligible for what they call a deferral program, meaning it's your first DUI? And maybe you can do something where you enter into this program, you can get it wiped off your record as if it never happened after you do some classes and maybe do an interlock on your car. There are certain programs that can make that DUI disappear if you go through and successfully complete it. There are certain things that can happen to have your DUI reduced, either to a reckless driving or to a first offense, as opposed to an aggravated DUI, a general impairment. There are so many different ways this DUI can play out. Evidence can be suppressed because the officer didn't perform the test correctly, or the officer didn't have probable cause to take certain things from you, take blood from you. They did not have those things. Now, what does that mean for your case? And how do you approach these things? And how do you argue for these things if you're not experienced in DUI offenses? So please, if you find yourself in a situation where you're stopped for a DUI and you get arrested for a DUI, please let the embarrassment happen and last for maybe a couple minutes, maybe an hour tops. But after that, you got work to do. You find a criminal defense attorney who understands DUIs, who can talk you through this. Make an appointment, go in, retain an attorney, who understands what to expect and can explain to you all the different steps walking through it. Then you can make sure that your record remains clean or you're not subject to any exorbitant penalties or jail time simply because you had too much to drink. Again, thanks for listening to the Frank Walker, West Virginia podcast, where we talk all things criminal defense and personal injury. If you need to contact us, please give us a call any time of the day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 304-413-0179. Again, 304-413-0179. Or visit us online at frankwalkerlaw.com.